Welcome to the Knighthood Podcast, a comprehensive weekly analysis of the Newcastle Knights 2024 NRL season, brought to you by Michael and James. So fire up and let's go. Hey James, the King is back. Kalen Ponga announced early comeback in round 18. What are your thoughts on that, mate?
Oh, mate, great news. I didn't really see it coming this early, and they've kept that under wraps. So the first I even thought about it was when you messaged me earlier. Then I looked it up. I saw the team list, and there he is. He's back. So totally pumped for that.
Yeah, great news.
Yeah, so can't wait for the game this weekend.
Yeah, we're coming off a good win against the Eels. What are your initial thoughts on that?
Yeah, really good win. I thought the boys played a lot more energetic. They looked a lot better than they had in previous weeks. You know, they threw a bit more at the Eels. Obviously, having Will Price there, they seemed a bit more adventurous in attack. Obviously, we still made quite a few errors. That's something we need to clean up. But to me, it seemed a lot less conservative, and we seemed to be a bit more willing to throw a bit of caution to the wind. And obviously, by doing that, you're going to make a few more errors. So that's what happened. But great win.
Yeah, great win. Let's get cracking straight into our show tonight. We're going to do, here we go. We get the slide up. It's the Newcastle Knights round 17 review and round 18 preview. We're fired up. We're getting into the business end of the season, 9 matches to go. And we're coming off a really good win there against the Eels. Let's quickly go over the agenda. We'll do our review in the first part of the show, run over the Knighthood Player of the Year 3-2-1 update. We will then run over the NRL ladder with no buys, so it's much more accurate viewing. Get into a season review and give a score, pass or fail. And then we'll get into the home run. We'll look at the next 3 matches before the next bye. Second half of the show, we'll run over the injury and suspension update. We'll run over the team list review and look at the ref and look at the weather conditions, the forecast. Then we'll go over our analysis of the match versus the Raiders on Sunday. We'll run into our betting update, which we had a successful run on the weekend with winning bets and more profit added to the Knighthood podcast and our reputation this year. And then we'll give you some tips for the matchup here against the Raiders in Canberra on Sunday. Rightio. James, let's get straight into the stats. The Knights, we won 34-26 versus the Eels at home in front of 27,000 raging fans, 6 tries to 5. Then let's get cracking into possessions and completions. 48% versus 52, so pretty close. But the Eels did have 3 minutes extra in time possession. Our completion rate was 76% to their 70%. If we get into the attack, anything that really stands out there is we did make slightly more meters than the Eels. Everything else is pretty even in terms of post-contact meters, line breaks. We had a few more tackle breaks than the Eels, 53 to 34. Average set distance was pretty similar, and our kick return meters was pretty similar. Offloading was pretty similar, 9 to 10, 9 for the Knights, 10 for the Eels. Dummy passes stands out there, 23 to the Eels, 2 to the Knights. What do you think, happened there? That's some. I don't see that too often in the stats. That stands out, that one.
Yeah, it's a strange one, and I don't recall seeing a shitload of dummies anyway. Maybe it was, Moses was throwing a few, but that's quite a lot. That's a
interesting stat. Yeah, interesting stat. Kicking stats, Moses out-kicked us there, 638 to our 519, but not too bad really, considering he's such a good kicker. And our kick diffuser was 43%, so that's obviously not a strong area, and we've had a few lapses there this year. Not great. Let's get into the next slide. We'll quickly run through these stats, and then we've got defense. Our defense was a bit better, 86% to 81%. We made more tackles, 325 to their 295. Missed tackles was 34 to the Knights, 53 there for the Eels. So considering we made more tackles, we made less missed tackles, which was good. And negative play was even, 12 errors to 13. Too many errors. Definitely got to cut that out, under 10 this week. Penalties and ruck infringements and inside 10 was all pretty even. I thought the bunker had a bit of an influence on the match, not so much the ref this week. And are there any comments there on those stats, team stats, James? Anything stand out?
Just the trend of our forwards not really getting over that 100-meter mark, apart from I think it was DSAF. Yeah, so that's a bit of a concern for me. But when you got someone like Bradman Best or the other guys put in the back three making a lot of meters, we can probably compensate for that. But hopefully we can get the big boys up front making a lot more meters, and yeah, that's what I'd like to see.
Yeah, 100%. In terms of these player stats, Fletcher Sharp, I thought he had a really solid match, 133 meters, 2 line breaks, 2 try assists. Bradman Best obviously stands out there with his 336 meters, 3 line breaks, and a couple of meat pies. Marju had a good game, 2 tries, 187 meters, 2 line breaks, 1 line break assist. Daniel Safidi, only forward there over 100 meters. But overall, pretty good team performance. No one really had a bad game, I'd say. Did you notice anyone have a bad game?
No,
Elliot was
I thought they were all.
The kettle was a bit quiet.
Yeah, that's where he gets the name from. It's like 1 week he's he's on fire, and next minute
Well,
he's quiet.
From a stats point of view, he definitely came up with some good tackles, I noticed, and some good
there was some aggression there.
The spine. Yeah.
Like when I do see him and he's involved, he's actually trying to have a crack, but it's maybe the game's not coming to him and he's staying in his area. Which is usually what happens. So I didn't see anything in the game on the weekend where I was like, oh, this person's having an absolute shocker. They were all really solid, so it was a good team performance.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, let's get into the notes from the press conference. So Brian said it was a roller coaster, and they needed the win, and they got it. And I just make a note there that he definitely looked a bit drained after the match. There was a lot of pressure on him if they lost that against the team coming last at home. At that stage of the season, things weren't looking great for him. So he said the crowd was all worth an extra man, 27,000 raging fans in Newcastle. They made some bad mistakes, but regrouped and changed the momentum more than once, and that's good because it's the first time we've really seen it in a game that counts this year, and it has been an Achilles heel for us, being unable to adapt and playing too much to a game plan and looking too structured, which I thought they were too structured at the start of the match, but it kind of opened up. Maybe it was the Eels. They kind of it helped us open up just the style of the match. He said that he thought the edge defense was good with Bradman Best, but I would say Gay Guy was a bit off. He got burnt a couple of times there by Moses. So, but he did point out Bradman Best, and he was great. Bradman Best had a blinder. So, Frizzell thinks they can still be a top 8 contender, and the errors let the Eels back in the match. Do you want to run over your final analysis there, James?
Yeah, no worries. So my first point, I've got energetic start from both sides in this match. The Knights enjoyed a fair bit of field position in the first half. They probably could have put a few more tries on the board, but they failed to sort of do so, and they went to the halftime break 12-10 down. I just thought, and they played the whole game like this, but they started really energetically. They seemed a lot faster than previous matches and a lot of games this year. So, I thought that they looked a lot fresher and faster. Second point, came out very strong in the second half. 2 disallowed tries could have derailed their performance, but they overcame the disappointment and continued to play with energy. Probably getting back to what AOB said, they could have dropped their bundle, and they overcame that adversity of the bunker disallowing the tries. Next point, despite the errors throughout the game, the Knights continued to play footy. They didn't get overly conservative when things went against them. Got lucky with 2 length of the field tries. Lucky, look, he was there. He picked it up. He scored. What else are you meant to do? So, we'll take them any day. Final point, I've got probably the most enjoyable Knights game I've watched this season. I really enjoyed the game. With some errors, but I really enjoyed the way they played, and good win.
Yeah, I enjoyed it as well. Probably, I'd agree with that. Definitely the most exciting match of the year. I've just made some shorter points here. I thought that the boys turned up and the effort was outstanding all match. That was a really good effort. Really gave 100% in front of the home fans, and that's what we expect. I thought the inclusion of Will Price potentially made a difference in a close match. Do you think we would have won that match without Do you think we would have won the match with Cogger?
No, well, we definitely wouldn't have scored that try, or the try he scored wouldn't have happened if
Yeah.
Cogger was there.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you bring a Will Price into it. He's going to be floating up in the middle of, and it'll get the big guys to throw a pass and offload. That opens up a whole new thing for us. So I thought it was great.
Yeah, and not to bash up on Cogger, but I watched the reserve grade and God, he was terrible.
He just looks not with us, doesn't he?
No, it's really disappointing. But I don't know. Maybe he won a grand final and maybe that's it for him. I don't know.
He's come back for a holiday.
Well, you've won a grand final. God, at his age, what an opportunity he had to play for the Knights and to own that jersey. O'Brien gave it to him. I'm a bit filthy on it, to be honest. When you see some of the effort that you've seen, I think I actually made a comment on Twitter. I'd like to see him managed out of the club. Very.
Well, I think that what he did in that Penrith game where he turned his back, to me, that was a nail in the coffin, and AOB had to drop him after that. When he just turned his back on the play.
Yeah.
And
well, he did. He got dropped. That's good.
Yeah.
But he was in the team way too long for, as far as I'm concerned. And anyway, getting back to the match, I thought Hastings is really leading the team well now. He's starting to get some confidence, and I think that injury is not in the back of his mind anymore. And I thought it was great that we were able to overcome adversity multiple times in the match. Definitely something we haven't been able to do this year, and it's a good sign moving forward. And I think this was a season-defining win. It definitely gets us, well positioned. They're only one win out of the top 8 now, and the Kings back this week, so that's so exciting. And yeah, we're in a position here to challenge for a final spot and potentially make a run like we did last year. Whether we can put 9 straight together, wouldn't that be a great story? We win 9 in a row. We fly into the finals, and let's not get too excited. But
you can't not think about it. But
yeah,
you'd sort of hope that you wouldn't be put in that position at this time of year. But that's the position we place ourselves in because it's been up and down. But we'll see what happens, mate.
We will see what happens. Rightio. Let's run through your 3-2-1 for the match.
Yeah, 3 points. So no brainer. Bradman Best, outstanding. He was great in defense, great in attack. He was just totally on his game. He sort of started the season quite solid, but he's had a few games now where he's really looked great. And I think he's going to be hitting a bit of a purple patch. So he got my 3 points. I got Daniel Saifidi. I know he made a few errors, but I thought he was integral in the early stages of the game. He really set the tone as far as like the aggression and the go forward. And he set up that nice little offload for Will Price's try. I thought that was great stuff. And he nice little offload in the second half as well that made a break as well. I can't remember who made the break, but
I think it was the first half, and that led to the Will Price try.
Yeah. But I thought he was really good. It was one of his better games, to be honest, because he'd sort of been he's had a very low, I don't know, not a low season, but he hasn't been up to the standards. Yeah. And 1 point, Greg Marzio, I thought he was really solid again. He made plenty of yards. And that's one thing I wanted to ask you. Are you now the president of the Greg Marzio fan club?
Definitely not.
No.
I'll give credit when it's due. He aimed up, and what I did watch is the reserve grade match in full on that New South Wales Rugby League app. I watched that match in reserve grade, and I watched Mothendriki. He's just so talented. He done a number of things in that match. They just made me shake my head and think, geez, how hasn't this guy played first grade this year? But then you come from watching the full match in reserve grade and seeing Mothendriki, and then you look at the first grade performance of Marju. Was pretty. I was just thinking if I was a player marking up against Marju when he was really on, and he's pretty imposing. It's really hard to, to leave him out or to put him down if he's in that kind of a mood. And geez, he really had a good game, and he's starting to find his space on the wing, and maybe that's got something to do with Sharp and the positioning of the passes and getting a bit more early ball. So, look, anyway, he had a great match. I'm not the president of the fan club. I think you voted for him more, but I was fair. I gave him 1 point. I gave 2 points to Jackson Hastings. I thought he really controlled the match well. His goal kicking is really good as well. So he gets 2 for me, pretty much leading the team. And how could you not give 3 to Bradman Best? Had the biggest impact on the match. And that's what the 3 points are reserved for me generally. Person who has the biggest impact on the result, and that was Big Bradman, the Beast Best. So looking at the ladder, Player of the Year ladder, Bradman Best, 25.
He's way out there.
He's just like the 2 tries he scored. He's way out in front. And KPP's on 19, but guess what? The King's back this week. He's on 17. He could easily get 23 this week and be on the heels of Bradman Best.
And the King's there, and he's been there all year. He's 3 off the pace, and then he's he's been out for 10 weeks. So
yeah, he has.
So he's been up the top for a long time. Yeah,
he's been out for 8 weeks and 2 buys.
Yeah.
So okay, then we've got Gay Guy on 14, really good season. Lucas on 13, really good season. Jacob Safidi, pretty good season on 12. Hastings is starting to move up the ladder on 10. Then we've got the Kettle Adam Elliott on 10. Tyson Frizzell on 8. Pretty consistent year from Tyson, but he has had a bit of an injury with the hamstring.
Yeah.
Phoenix, really good year, I think, on 8, and then there's a bunch of players there on 7 from David Armstrong down, including Greggy Marju. Rightio. Let's have a look at the NRL adjusted ladder. We are 12th on the ladder with 7 wins and 8 losses. If you have a look there, the Raiders are also they're 1 position below us on 13 on 7 wins and 8 losses. If you have a look on the right-hand side there in the column on the right, the Raiders, you can go on X and Facebook. I have posted this on social media if you want to analyze it in more detail when you've got some more time. But you can see all the matches there that the Knights have played against other opposition. Same for the Raiders coming into this week's match. Interestingly, above us, we've both played 10 matches, and we've got a win over the Storm. That's our highest win there. Highest win is a win over the Bulldogs. They've had, 5 losses against the top teams, and we've also had 4 losses, 1 win. So overall, and if you go the other way and you look at it, the Raiders have had 3 wins against teams below them, and we've had 3 wins and a loss for both sides. So really pretty even season. And we're right there, 7 wins, 8 losses, 47% win percentage. So look, at the other thing to look at here is we're only 1 win out of the top 8. The Dragons are on 8 wins and 7 losses at 53%. If we go on a run here, we will be in the top 8 and really challenging to, if they go on a really solid run, the top 4 isn't out of the question. Very unlikely, but that was their goal at the start of the season. We thought they were a chance to do that, and can't rule it out after what they did last year. And the fact now that we've got Will Price on the side, Ponga's in the side, very exciting. And, we're not going to predict that they're going to do it, but it's definitely
possible.
Something that we're hoping for as fans. That's for sure. Okay, so that's the ladder. I won't run through all the matches on the pass or fail, but we have got them listed here, rounds 1 to 17. So we won last week against the Eels, and we'll quickly touch on the fact that we've won the 7 and lost the 8. The smiley faces are the performances where we think that they've turned up and they've aimed up and played to their potential. So 11 times out of 15, four matches they were off this year. So that's 73% of the matches they turned up and they played really well. I still think they're 2 to 3 wins short. What are your thoughts here, James? Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and they're really hurting us, those games we should have won, and we just weren't weren't up for it, and you add an extra 3 wins to where we are. We're right in the thick of it.
Well, let's do that. Let's add a 3 wins. If we go to 10, then that means we're in outright fourth position, or equal second with the Panthers and the Sharks, who've also played 15 matches.
So close and condensed, isn't it? Like,
yeah, and we could have easily had those 2 or 3 wins.
Yeah.
Look, I think sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah, so look, obviously you throw those 2 and 3 losses in there that we probably should have won, and that equals what you've written there, the fail. So the season we are under where we should be, I think.
Yep, yeah. And we can get into the pass, or the big what they give you when you're a kid at school, the stamp on the the star or whatever it was.
Yeah.
We can still get there, because if we win, what do we got? 9 matches left. If we win 6 from 9, we'll make the finals. If we win more than that, we maybe challenge for a top 4, depending on what happens above us. So once again, I'm not calling that we're going to make the top 4, but we should still be striving towards it based off where we are in this season and what we did last year. So, yeah, we'll leave it at that for now. And let's have a look at the next 4 rounds. So we get a big smiley face there for the win over the Eels. Not sure if Angelo's out there tonight, our biggest fan, but mate, you said we needed to win 3 from 4 last week, and so did you, James, and I concurred with that. I think we still need to get 3 from 4 out of these matches, but now with Ponga back, well, we should be winning these next 3 matches. If as a side, if they gel, if the spine gels and we stay pretty healthy and in the forwards, we can win these 3 matches. And really, if we win our next 3 matches, what does that take us to? 10 wins. And what are we, 7 and 8 right now? So we're 10 wins and 8 losses going into a bye. Then we'd be favoured to make the top 8 if we win the next 3. If we win 2, we're right there, 9 and 9, right? So, yeah, I think we can do it. I think I'm feeling really positive about what can happen in the next 3 weeks, and it's critical that we hit the ground running this week against the Raiders in this match. So, yeah, let's look. We made it to halftime pretty quick tonight, mate. Sorry for anyone out there tuning in. We were a little bit late tonight. We had a bit of a system malfunction there with the start button. So anyway, let's get into our halftime message from MB Optimal Oral Care. Optimal Oral Care are our season sponsor of the Knighthood podcast. They have a range of zero plastic oral care products that are best for you and best for the planet. You can check out their full range of products via Chemist Warehouse online. Find the link in the description. So thank you, MB Optimal Oral Care, for sponsoring the United Podcast of the 2024 season, NRL season. Awesome products. James is liking his tongue scraper and the gunk that gets off his tongue every day, mate, up there in Queensland. And they make a range of other earth-friendly products, which are best for you, best for the planet. It helps to get the bacteria off your tongue. It helps the planet to use plastic products that are actually going to, dissolve into the earth and break down within a year or so, compared to 500 years with the traditional plastic products that you see all over the supermarket shelves or in pharmacies or wherever you buy your oral care products. So next time you're in the supermarket or in the pharmacy, rethink your oral care, or online, and consider your choices and consider that there might be some better methods out there that you can add into your personal care routine that will give you better oral health and overall wellness with MB Optimal Oral Care. Search EMBI, that's MB, EMBI, Optimal Oral Care, or EMBI OOC on Chemist Warehouse online. Rightio, James, we're in the second half of the show. Injuries and suspensions. You want to run us through this one?
Yeah, so obviously we got Phoenix out with the what was it, a HIA concussion. So yeah, he's going to be out. It's a big loss for us. He's been integral to our line speed throughout the whole year. He's the man. The defensive speed comes off. I'm
a bit worried about losing that this week.
I am, yeah. And I mean, so Brayley obviously comes into the 9 position. He's not going to offer as much variety as Phoenix can, but he's obviously a solid defensive player. But yeah, disappointed to see Phoenix out, but that's just how it is with the concussion rules these days.
Yep. So look, at the end of the day, there were 88%, same as last week. No excuses when it comes to injury, as in the King Kalen Pong is back. Okay, Raiders.
Yeah, so the Raiders are at 76% full strength rating. We have Nick Kotrick, Jordan Martin, Corey Harawira-Naira, and Pasami Solo all out. So Nick Kotrick is Corey, how long's he been out for? I'm not sure, but
I think he's been out for a while. But yeah, they're potentially 4 players that could feature in the top 17. And we've got an edge again compared to the Raiders this week. So moving into the match, game days on Sunday in Canberra, and what's the scheduled start time there? It's a 4:05 p.m. match on Sunday, so that's the Channel 9 game. Head to head, Canberra have beaten us 30 times 26. I don't look into these things too much. I mean, ultimately, we'll look into what happened last year when we get into the analysis. But we got the Raiders last year. We got the milk in Canberra. That's what we're going to be doing this week, James. Going down and getting the milk.
Yeah, that's it.
Rightio, do you want to run through have you got your phone in front of you? You want to run through the teams list?
Yeah, I'll go through it. I can read that. So
yeah,
I should be right.
Okay.
So for the Raiders, we've got fullback Kyle Weeks. We've got Jordan Rapana and Xavier Savage on the wings. We've got Matt Timbercore and Hopewadi in the set, both playing in the centers. Ethan Strange, and we've got Cook at halfback. In the front row for the Raiders, we've got Josh Papali'i, and Joey Papane. Tom Starling at hooker. And back row, we've got Hudson Young and Elliot Whitehead with Smithies at lock. For the Knights, we have the King, Kalen Ponga, making his return. Unbelievable, nice early return.
O'Brien's is a good poker player, eh?
Yeah,
they kept that secret good.
Absolutely. On the wings, we've got Inari Tuala and Greg Marsu. Centers, Dane Gagai, Bradman Best. In the halves, we've got Will Price backing up after his first game. Can't wait to see him again. In the 6, halfback Jackson Hastings. Front rows for the Knights, we've got Daniel Saifidi, Leo Thompson. Hooker Jaden Brayley comes in for the injured Phoenix Crossland. So we're going to miss a bit there in the starting lineup. But back row, we have Tyson Frizzell, Kai Pierce-Paul, and the Kettle, Adam Elliott at lock.
Yeah, look, mate, we've been through this season round by round and with the preview in a pretty methodical manner. And look, I really like this the way the side's coming together at the moment. So excited to see Ponga back in the side. We really could go to the next level this week and be that top 4 team that we are potentially. So yeah, I can't wait for this match. This is I'm fired up. I'm psyched. Can't wait.
Bring it on.
Yeah, and look, there's a team there in the Raiders. They've got the players on the field there to beat us if we don't aim up. And there is a chance on the flip side that, with Ponga being out, he might be a bit rusty, and the spine not having any games together with Price. And but geez, I can't not be bullish on our chance against the Raiders this week. I think we're coming into a really exciting time. Let's run over the interchange.
Okay, for the Raiders, we've got 14 Levi, we've got Mariota, Mooney, Sasangi, Sebastian Chris in 18, Zach Wolford, Emery Gula. I think it's Jake Schiller. He's coming to the Knights, isn't he?
He's a Knight next year. Yeah.
And number 22, Puru, rounds out the interchange for the Raiders. For the Knights, we have 14. Really happy to see this Fletcher Sharp coming in as the interchange play.
X-Factor.
It's going to really change the way we play, or just give more dynamics when he comes on. So I really look forward to seeing how that pans out. Jacob Saifidi, 15.
Yep.
We've got Brody Jones at 16. Dylan Lucas on the bench at 17.
Yep.
with Matt Croker, Jack Hetherington, Jack Cogger, Mopalungi, and Thomas Cant rounding out the bench. Or
I really don't.
Bench.
I don't like that Jack Cogger's in the squad. He's a chance to come in at 14. I really hope that doesn't happen.
we can't go back down that road. Hopefully.
Well, God, we can. O'Brien's done it all year except for last week. Geez, I would hate to see that. I can't believe he's even in the squad. Especially after watching reserve grade last week and seeing how much of a difference Will Price made to the side. So anyway, look, he's there on the extended. Hopefully with no chance to play. But yeah, I really like Sharp there in at 14. Can bring in some X factor off the bench for 15 or 20 minutes. We did mention Armstrong in a couple of weeks podcasts ago. We said that Armstrong might come in there off the bench. That might be a good idea. We floated that idea, and now it's happening with Sharp. So, yeah, really excited to see that. And, I think our bench is pretty settled at the moment. I think, another thing I'll touch on just quickly here is last week at the start of the show, I made some predictions with the squad that actually, no one was talking about, that mostly have come already into the news cycle this week. There's talk of Daniel Safidi. He won't be here next year. He's been shopped around. There's talk that Hetherington's gone. He's being shopped out of the club. Who was the other one that they mentioned as well? Sorry, just running over this players list here. Well, I mean, Brayley was the other one. So there was a few players that I singled out, and they were probably the top three. Not Hetherington so much. That was a bit of a surprise to me, but I mean, not so much. You can look at the way he's being treated this year with his selections.
He has that chance, doesn't he? Really?
He kind of did at the start of the year, and that just ever since that incident in the tunnel there against the Bulldogs.
Oh, the
coach has been off him. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's good. I think we're a bit ahead of the game when it comes to having a read on the squad and the side. And I think we've proven that there with a couple of things we've just touched on. Overall, I think this is a really good chance. I mean, you've got, ex-Knights players here, Sasagi, Wolford, he was at the Knights for a bit. You've got Schiller's coming to the Knights. Levy, he's there as well on 14. So, overall, man, I think we're a better squad. I think we're a better team. We're healthier, and we're in a bit better form. So we've got the players in the park here to do the job on Sunday. Once again, the NRL, man, what WTF, I won't swear. What are they doing? Second time this year they haven't named the refs on Teamless Tuesdays. Really ordinary NRL. Not happy about that. Not happy about how the refs ref the match this year. And, Wayne Bennett came out and he made a case for us all last week in the media. And, there's always controversy in the bunker. Get your shit together. Yeah, ordinary. We need to know who the ref is on Tuesday.
It says here it's Jared Sutton.
Well, you've got it there, not on NRL.com. Have you got that?
Yeah.
Maybe they've updated that since when I was updating the sheet.
It's on the app.
It's on the app?
Yeah, it says Jared Sutton here.
Well, it wasn't when I checked at 5:30 when I was putting the slides together. Anyway, Sutton.
We don't have
I won't go in.
on
We won't do on the fly research and bore everybody right now. But what we will do is we're going to make our final prediction live on X. So when we place the bet for the week, it'll be done in the last 30 minutes before the match on X, and we will definitely factor in the referee into that decision. I don't want to rush it. Last week, I made my betting call early and tip on the podcast, and I'm going to go into that in the betting segment soon and show you why I regret that because it could have cost me badly, and it nearly did. So previous to that, if you've been tuning in all the time, I've been making the call before the matches start, probably for the last 6 or 7 weeks in a row, and it's been working really well for me. So, I made a bit of a rookie error and got a bit too excited. announcing that bet last week. So I won't be doing that again this week. And we'll factor in the ref, Sutton. We'll go over the stats and we'll share that with you on X Live prior to the game on Sunday. When I went over all this, I noticed that the conditions are actually pretty similar to what we had last week. It's going to be a little bit cooler at 14 degrees, but the rain, 10% humidity, and wind was all very similar. So when they run onto the field, it might be a bit chillier, but pretty similar conditions to last week. So I thought that was quite interesting. And the body does have a muscle memory, so hopefully that plays in our favour. Let's get into our analysis. The Knights, we've got an 88% full strength rating compared to the Raiders at 76%. So once again, our squad is strong and we've got an edge going into this match. Now we know that the referee is Sutton. Both teams, 7 wins, 8 losses, 15 matches this year. We won away this match last year, 28-6, and that was I think it was the 4th game into our 10-match win streak. So this is a bit earlier. This is what are we? We've won 1 match, so we've got 9 to go. So we're 1 match into our 10-match win streak, hopefully. But yeah, we got them last year, and it was a pretty important win. I remember because I had this bet for the Knights to make the top 8, and I knew that this is a real critical match for us to win at that stage in the season last year. So yeah, it's just as important this week for us to get that win. And the last 3 matches, the Raiders have actually lost to the Cowboys, the Tigers, and the Storm. Haven't won a match. They've had an average of 15 points, so their attack is struggling. And they've also had 33 points against them in each of those last 3 matches. So there's some pretty key points there to consider. On the flip side for the Knights, we've scored 27, so our attack's getting better. Can only you would think it would only get better potentially with Cogger. With Ponga, not Cogger. Jeez, give us a heart attack there.
Oh, mate.
He's not coming in at fullback, hopefully not. So, yeah, Ponga's back in the side. You think with Price there as well, that's only going to help our attack. And our defense is still not great there, 29 against. But, the Raiders have 33 against. And I think our quality of opposition has been stronger. I think Penrith, the Storm, and the Eels is a stronger opposition compared to the Cowboys, Tigers, and Storm overall. Two different teams there that we've played. So, yeah, overall, I think we've got the edge looking at these points to start with. And then one thing I will say is I thought last week's match was pretty physical. But I thought also we'll do the confidence really good, and KP's back. So I don't think that'll affect us too much on an 8-day turnaround. And then we've got, I think the Raiders potentially peaked a little bit too early in the season. So maybe that explains the bit of a drop in form. But yeah, they're coming back home this week, and there's a good chance that they're going to really, early on, they're going to be up for it, aren't they? And they did get us this year early in the season, but I reckon, at this stage of the season, we're heavily favoured to get them with everything that's on the board at the moment. The King's back now. Price is right. So let's hope that this spine hits the ground running. But there is a risk there as well because they don't have on-field experience in the NRL. So I'm sure they've practiced a lot at training. But, there is a slight risk there. So, keep that in mind when thinking about who's going to win and your betting calls. And I reckon the Knights are going to be pretty keen to repay the Raiders back here, and it's an exciting match ahead. Any thoughts, any additions to the analysis or any thoughts on those points, James?
I mean, when we were talking about the defense and stuff like that before in the previous slide, I think having KP, but having Ponga back there, having that voice that they're probably used to at the back will help their defense. You probably don't understand the amount of how much it probably throws them off because the fullback has so much of an impact on defensive lines and stuff. So having him back there and having that voice that they know will probably help their defense. So, but yeah, I just think
that's a good point.
To me, this is a real dangerous game, though. There's something about the Raiders that they always worry me. It doesn't matter where they are on the table. this
Yeah.
is something that Sticky can do. So
they're a
they're a
good
bit of
rival of us, but
yeah,
I reckon we've got this is a much better match for us now that
yeah,
we're at this stage of the season, and the Raiders got the leg up on us before at the start in the first round. So I don't think that's going to be happening this week. Going into this match confident, but not overly confident. Okay. We will now run
looking better.
over the betting. Yep. We're having a good run this year, and it's been a hard run for NRL tipsters and professional punters. Let's run over James first. You're the rookie. You're there sitting at 12% profit on the year, which is really good. Much better than what you get sitting the money in the bank. A little bit more risky though. Your strike rate is 5 wins and 7 losses at 42%, but your average winning odds is good at 2.41. So that's what gives you the profit. Happy, mate?
Yeah, absolutely. I was in a hole for a while there, and I
You were?
clawed my way out, and
Yep.
I've played. I sort of haven't got all emotional and tried to, go nuts and try and win it back. I just was pretty methodical in what I did, and now I feel like I'm in a good place, and just got to keep that ball rolling.
Yeah, so I made some notes here. I said that you turned the things around since round 9. I did a bit of analysis on your bets, and at one point you were minus $239 or at minus 34% profit on turnover. So that was in round 9, and now we're in after round 17. You're at 12% plus, and what you actually did is you went slow. You've only had 4 bets since then, and you basically won 3 of them and lost 1. So I think you follow the system, which is basically follow a system of selection, make a call and stick to it. So that's what we do here is we go through this information methodically each week. Then we make a call. So whether it's live in the podcast or pre-match, James generally makes his calls here. But I generally do it pre-match, especially when it comes to betting, not so much just making a prediction. Then we allocate the staking right, so you don't chase your losses with bigger bets. You measure the results and you focus on constant improvement, and then you follow the rules here. Never bet more than you can afford to lose. Never chase your losses. So that's what you did, James. You didn't chase your losses. You focused on the long term, not the moment, not the emotion. You controlled yourself, and you went a bit slower. I reckon that's the best strategy when you're losing is to go slow. Use your head, think, don't get too emotional, and work your way out of it. It's the same in the game of footy. If things go against you, you don't want to start rolling the dice. You want to get back to the fundamentals, complete your sets, make your tackles, and then get luck back on your side. And that's what you're doing, mate. So hats off. You've done a good job. Represented the Knighthood podcast in our formula well. And I think it's a really good example of what you can do if you follow the process. So well done. And it's a good way to start your rookie season with a bit of adversity and overcoming it. But you still got 9 rounds to go, mate. So, don't get too excited. Now,
All right.
I'm more of the seasoned campaigner, more of the expert. I'm at 19% profit on turnover, and what I'm quite proud about is my strike rate for the year: 13 winning bets, 7 losses, 65%. That definitely gets me up there in the top of the ladder amongst probably everyone trying to have a punt and beat the bookies. So my average winning odds are $1.83. I've managed to land 4 live bets and lose 2 at 66%. At an average odds of $1.91. I am going to run into some things here and do a bit of self-analysis here. I posted a live bet pre-match in New South Wales Cup, and I'm going to say I made a mistake. So I haven't bet on New South Wales Cup. I haven't talked about New South Wales Cup on this podcast. I'm sure you'd be surprised by this one, James, that I did that. But I have been keeping an eye on it, and I looked at the Knights, and I thought maybe we've got a healthier squad at home against the team. I looked at some of the form, and I thought I don't know. I just had a bit of a feeling that the Knights would win this one and win it pretty easily. against the Eels, but I couldn't have been more wrong. I went the other way. And it was a really interesting match. There was a couple of things. Moth and Dreeke streaked down the sideline from inside the half within the first 5 minutes after we were under a lot of pressure on our own try line. But it's beautiful inside pass, left the right pass. And then to Armstrong. Armstrong's going down the sideline, and then he got caught right on the try line. He didn't score.
Oh,
Absolute
no.
bomb try. You would have put your house on it that he scored. And if they scored that, they probably would have went on and run on. They got confident. And there was a number of other bomb tries in this match. Just everything kind of seemed to go against them. And Eels play well. But I think the error that I made, without analysing the match too much, is I didn't go through a full process. I kind of did it half-hearted and went on my kind of instinct, and my instinct is generally pretty good. And I think luck went against them in this match. But I broke my rules, and I deserved to lose, and I did. So we won't be doing that again. I won't be making that same mistake again unless I've done a full process, which takes time, So, but that's why my strike rate's so good this year, and in a tough season. And yeah, anyway, the bet that I posted, which was Knights -3.5 at the start of the week, it landed. But that could have cost me, because what happened is 2 players came out of the Knights side, and then Mitchell Moses had a blinder in State of Origin going into the match, and we were $2.06 outsiders at home. Now, I still would have backed the Knights, but I would have backed them at the $2.06. Now, I backed them, I think, at $2.04 or $2.06, but -3.5. Now, if you can recall in the match at the end, the Eels scored that try, and they got back in the match, and they were down by 2. If Bradman Best didn't score that try in the last couple of minutes, I would have lost all of my bets, including the live bet that I placed, which was -2.5 live in the second half. So I got better than what I placed pre-match, -2.5. But if Best didn't score that try at the end, I would have had egg on my face losing 3 bets. So, look, I made some mistakes. I ended up getting it right. But they're the type of errors that can really affect your strike rate and affect your profit. And I'm just glad I got out of this round safely, making a profit. I increased my profit from the year from 17% to 19%. But, the good thing we're doing here is like the Knights do on a Monday in a video session and review with the coach. We're doing the same process here on ourselves. And that's what's going to make the difference between us being, having a winning strike rate. And, we face the music here every week. The thing that we're trying to do here is build a reputation based on performance. And I think we've done that so far this year with our comments, with our takes, with our predictions, and with our track record of betting, and the way that we go about things here. And that's how we want to be known. That's a reputation we want to build in the Steel City to Nova Coastrians having a crack. So anyway, that's a bit of analysis. Made a couple of mistakes, but managed to get 2 out of 3. Well done, James. You've turned things around this year, and that's the betting segment for the night. Now that's going to segue us into the top sport, brought to you by Toppy. If you're having the bet, have it with Toppy. Knights to win this match here against the Raiders, $1.65 on Toppy. Raiders to win, $2.25. Knights at the line, -3.5, $1.85. Knights 1-12, $3.15. Knights 13 plus, $3.15. Are you making a call before the match, James, or what? Where are you at? What's your play this week?
I'm going to hold off. I want to go through some of the refereeing,
especially after the segment we just went through, preaching to the crowd. So yeah, you got to hold off. I think when it comes to betting, it's definitely even if one comment here is even if you don't get as good odds, I reckon overall, even if you're getting lesser odds, it'll work out in your favor. Just there's so many things that can change before a match. So yeah, good call, James. You're gonna wait.
Yep, I'll let you know on Sunday
via Twitter. Yep. So
via
chime
Twitter.
in. when well, if you can. If you can't, then just let me know. But if you can, I'll chime in and I'll give an announcement before the match. So if you're having a bet and you want to factor that into what you're doing, I'll try and do it around 5 minutes before the match, probably 10 minutes at the best. There also might be a live bet too. So as I got a feel for the match last week, I got onto the live bet and it proved to be a winning one. And yeah, if I feel the same, I'll keep doing the same thing because my strike rate's pretty good, 4 wins, 2 losses. And if I can keep doing that every week at the odds that I'm getting, I'm going to keep adding to the profit. And that's what we're all about here. Beating the bookies, taking their money, taking from the bag. So rightio. So that's our tip for the week. We are going to get you to tune into YouTube. Tune into Twitter and X. Live bet post 10 minutes before the match and get your tips here from us there. Look, we've done this short and sharp compared to our previous weeks, James. 51 minutes tonight so far. Let me just get that slide off. Yeah, we've done pretty good. Pretty good. What are your final thoughts?
Concise. Yeah, my gut is telling me that with Kalen Ponga coming into the team that we're going to be really up for it. The boys should be, and also the guys knowing what's ahead of them and what they can actually achieve for the rest of the year. They should be 100% up for this game. So, I'm thinking there's going to be a really strong performance against a very committed Raiders team. So, we'll see how it pans out. But I will let you know on the Sunday regarding my bet. And
okay,
for a night's victory.
Yeah, look, it's an exciting match. Can't wait to see Ponga back in the Knights Guernsey. It's a match that we should win on paper.
Yeah.
And okay, so another thing that I'll just touch on is last week I made a comment that in that match I was feeling confident that we'd win it 4 times out of 5. Remember I made that comment? Yeah. That's one of the ways in my mind I kind of make decisions on bets and odds. So pre-match with the changes, I changed that assessment to we'd win 3 times and lose 2. So that's why I was still confident that we'd win the match and I'd take the bet. So going into this match, I haven't really thought about it in full detail, but I'd say we're around the same. I reckon we'd win this 3 times and lose it twice. So that means that, I guess going off how it's gone so far this year and how accurate we've been, probably going to be a close game. I can't see a world where the Raiders turn up and beat us comfortably. I can see a world where it's a close game. I can see a world where the Knights potentially skip away with it. As we did last year in Canberra, we really aimed up. So overall, I'd say the odds are in our favour to win. We are at $1.65. I'd be leaning this week towards, based on my position at 19% profit, I'll be just looking to add to that. I think $1.65 is starting to get pretty short. I don't think I'd be overly keen on taking -3.5 at the line. But yeah, tune in on Sunday for my final call. But at this stage, they're just some things that are popping into my mind that I'm considering. So if you're making decisions on your bets and you're doing it earlier before the game and having multis and all that kind of stuff, there's some thoughts for you to consider. We've been through a pretty comprehensive review of last week and preview of this week tonight. So James, thanks for your time. If you guys have enjoyed what we've done, definitely give us a subscribe and a like on YouTube. We're live and free every week here on YouTube, and you can also get us on the audios, Spotify and Apple. We also have our social media with Facebook and X. We're a bit more heavy on the in-game stuff with X, but we are starting to get a little bit more active on the socials on Facebook as well. There's a good crew of people following us on there. So, that wraps us up, James. Thanks again for your time. Hail the King. Ponga's back. Looking forward to, exciting game this week. Looking forward to a victory. We've got the team song. I shared it on X. So let's go out with that again. Thanks, mate.
No worries, mate. See you next week.
Up the Knights.
Go the Knights.